I had one class that had this couple in it. It was annoying when they were together and it was annoying after they broke up. I'm very much like a sit where you want, but if you can't work, I'm going to move you. And it was her and her boyfriend and then two other random people, their friends. I was like doing something on the board and I turn around and she was on his lap. And I look at her and I'm like, get in your friggin' seat. Like, what are you doing? Then they broke up. And holy end of the world. They decided to take like a month off of school after. And then when they came back, they moved seats to be on the furthest edge. And then the problem was each of these two kids was like pretty well known. They had a bunch of friends in the class. So then they had to divide the class. So it looked like a middle school dance where it's like all the girls on one side, all the boys on the other. And that's a problem because they're all insane. They are like actively hating each other because now they're on two different sides of this like ridiculous drama. It just like kind of simmered. But in the beginning, I thought I was going to see like a battle happening in my class, like Braveheart.
I hate when teachers throw kids' food away. Can't stand it. I have seen people throw kids' food away, and I'm like, you wrong for that.
Tell them to put away.
Either they mama bought that, or don't throw their stuff away. I don't care if they had 10 bags of chips. Don't throw their stuff away, man.
Yeah, you don't know what their home situation is at home.
And even if you do, don't throw their stuff away. Yeah, if somebody throw my chips away, we squaring up. If my principal say, put them chips up, and I don't put them up, and she like, well, give them to me until we get done since you ain't gonna put them up. Say less. But if you take my chips and walk over there and throw them in the trash can and you didn't bring no Chick-fil-A biscuits in here this morning with no coffee and we had to be here up before Jesus, I'm gonna get a little testy.
In Pennsylvania, they're actually having a new teacher certification shortage. They are looking at how many teachers are getting certified in that state to teach in that state. This blew my mind. Do you realize in 2012, in state of Pennsylvania, there were 16,000 new certifications for teachers. 16,000 new teachers coming in a year. This past school year, there were 4,200. They're just not even wanting to join. I don't know that there's any hope. We do these shows, and Casey Mack is on the show for Board Teachers Comedy Shows, and he does a thing where he goes, where are all my, retired teachers? And they go crazy. Where are all my teachers with 10 years or more? And they go crazy. And he goes, where's all the teachers that are 1 year in, the new teachers? And it's literally, people would take pride in going, I'm the third generation teacher. It wasn't even a matter of like how much money you made. It's fulfilling. You loved it.
When kids play games on the Chromebook, at the beginning of the year, I'll go over, sit next to them like, hey, can you please not play games right now? Kind of whisper them. And now I'll see him like, Brett, dude, I'm going to punt that Chromebook off of the roof, dude.
That's exactly it.
And tell your mom I said that, please.
Hey, and couldn't catch myself before I said, close your laptop, I'm finna throw it out the window because you don't need it for this assignment.
Yeah.
Really?
And all of a sudden you realize you're beefing with a 13-year-old.
Hardcore.
Like me? Yeah.
Meat market
Do you want the
beefing.
smoke?
Oh
no,
my gosh.
you have so
Beef
much more of a
market.
short fuse at the end of the
Oh,
school year.
God.
I have
Oh,
zero
man.
patience.
Beginning of the
friends
year,
are
I'm
already
like,
short.
all right, guys, talking's getting to be a little bit too much. I can't go on with the lesson if I can. And then April, I'm like, what? Shut up! Shut up! Just shut up!
People be like, you shouldn't tell kids to shut up. You shut the hell up too, then.
You go from Miss Honey to Miss Trunchbull real fast. Like, it's like terrifying how bad it happens. I go from like, what do you think would happen if, to being like, why would you do that?
Dude, do y'all ever do this? Like, when I make new seating arrangements, I purposely sit kids next to their crushes because I'm bored and I like chaos. Dog, as a teacher, I couldn't afford all the streaming services. This is free reality TV, Love is blind? No, love is oblivious, actually. Dude, high school boys are the most oblivious creatures in the entire world, though. Like, one time I sat this guy and this girl next to each other, and during work time, the girl goes to him, maybe after school you could come over to my place and we could finish the homework. And he said, I'm about to finish it right now. And so she said, okay, well, maybe we could study for the test together. And he said, the test isn't for 3 weeks. Why would we do that? I'm like, dude, some girls shoot their shot. She was emptying the whole chamber. She was not gonna let this go. So finally she says, okay, well, maybe I could tutor you sometime. And he goes, no offense, but I have a better grade than you. And I was like, dude, no offense, you're gonna die alone, okay? She likes you.
My old school, you could not leave for lunch. There was a teacher, this man left every day And nobody knew that he left for lunch every day. The way that they figured out that he was leaving was because he took up a student's phone and then he left the school with the kid's phone in his pocket. The kid's mom called the school and said, my child is not at school. She is down the street at the gas station. And so the principal was like, I'm going to look into it. And so he went into class and he was like, no, she's in class. The mom was like, where's her phone? And so they went to see what class period she was in, the class period before that one. And so they were like, hey, did you take up a student's phone? And he was like, yeah. Did you like leave with it and go to the gas station? And he was like, no. So then he was like, the kid's mom called and it said the phone was at the gas station. Did you? He's like, yeah, I just popped down there to get some pizza real quick. And so then the principal goes, well, do you leave for lunch every day? Right. He was like, yeah. That was the time you want to tell the truth. Some of the craziest things students have said, kids like, my dad said I don't have to respect you because I don't have to listen to a woman. Well, your dad's a jerk and I hope he's divorced and single and has to pay alimony.
There's nothing better than hearing a parent's opinion about a teacher through a kid because you know they're talking at home. There's so many instances. There was one that was like, a student was like, I don't know, my mom just said that you look lonely. There was one where it was like, Miss whatever, my mom said you're never going to find a man.
Well, your mom would know. She's got 6 men. Tell her to mind her business and pick one. Respectfully. My first year teaching was, I came in the middle of the school year as a long-term sub. And my kids had hit their teacher in the face with a stapler. And she walked out. It was her first year teaching. And she quit at the beginning of October. So she made it August, September. She quit at the beginning of October. In August, somebody got to fighting. She tried to break it up. They pushed her into the Promethean board, broke the board. And then in September, somebody threw a stapler across the room and hit her in the face. And so she didn't come back. And I'm like, I can't blame you. But the first conversation that I had when I got don't throw nothing across this room. Because the teacher y'all had ain't the teacher you got right now. Nothing better not hit me in the face. That wasn't even me. I didn't ask the first person to say that wasn't me. It was you. Yeah. Because there was no reason for you to say that wasn't even me. Because I don't know y'all. We just met. Yeah. I'm just telling you off the rip. That was foul. Y'all done broke the Promethean board. You done hit your teacher in the face with a stapler. She was babyface first year teacher. Straight out of college.
Today, our kids, it just seems like, there's like a handful that do care. And then there's like the rest of them are like, I got an F. Oh well.
You give them a chance to redo the assignment.
Right,
I give kids a chance to redo the assignment.
And they don't do it.
Nah, it's okay. I just take the 0.
Yes.
They don't
care at all.
I had a student this year who turned in, got a 20%, and I said, hey buddy, how about we redo this? When do I have to redo it? Well, you can do it before school. You can do it at recess, lunch, or after school. It'll be an unpreferred time. I'll take the 20. I'll say, now I'll make the choice for you because that ain't happening.
Right. You're going to take this test again. I had a kid that made a 6. Holy. I was like, I said, my daughter could come in, she's 4, and scribble on this paper and make better than a 6. You could have made better than a 6 if you would have went all the way down and marked C. I said, you taking this again. And she did not want to take it again. I'm like, you made a 6. And there's a difference between a kid making a 6 who genuinely does not understand and a kid who has the capability to make an 80 or an 85.
When children hug me, my hands go up in the air immediately, and and they all like it was another pre-K teacher, or not another, but because I don't teach pre-K, but a pre-K teacher that saw it because the siblings all want to be in theater so badly, but I don't teach pre-K, but they'll run up and hug me anyway. And she's like, why do you throw your hands up? And I was like, because the gay teacher, like I have to be aware of the fact that I can't. No, I don't want. I'm one of 3 male teachers in my school, as well as I'm like, it's just the world we're in. I don't want anyone to get any kind of weird idea.
100%.
It's sad that you have to think that way, though.
It's so sad because these kids are adorable.
Because I don't think twice about that. When it's like I mean, yesterday when I was sending my students home for the weekend, at least 2 or 3 of them came up and like side hugged me. Yeah. Like, and I don't think twice about that, but that's really sad that that's how you have to think. They ninja hug
me, and so like they'll rap, and I'm like, hey, I'll still talk to them, but my hands go up in the air.
Somebody told me that in their school district, if they're going to be absent, they have to find their own sub. And if they're out of days, they have to pay for the sub.
Hell no.
Depending on what the reason is, even if you have days, depending on if the reason is justified. So like if you say it was personal, but then they can't justify that it was personal, you still got to pay for the sub.
What is justified a personal day?
What kind of school district?
Why do I have to justify that at all?
Where you going to get the money from? Because you better not take it out of my paycheck. I'm not paying for a sub. Why do I have to pay if I'm sick to miss work? I followed up with this. I made a TikTok and I asked people, do you have to pay for your sub? Y'all, the amount of teachers that were like, yeah. astounding.
No.
Because I've been teaching for 6 years, and I feel like I've been teaching for 55. I'm tired. As far as tiredness, I feel like 55. As far as knowing what to do, this my first year.
So hard as a third-year teacher, and they're like, you've been here for 10 years. Like, stop.
You ever have a teacher come up to you, they're like, I've been teaching for 15 years. And you're like, oh, did you start when you were 40? And they're like, no, I right out of college. What?
Let me tell you something. Teaching will age you. That math don't be mathing. I feel 112 years old. And they're like, it's the 100th day of school. I feel 100 years old.
You have to have a list of like quick games that you can play.
What's your go-to?
Animal sounds, where I would have a bunch of animals in a hat, and there was 2 of every animal, and they would each pick one, and they would all spread across the room. You would have to make the sound of that animal and find your match.
I am adding this. Oh my gosh, that is so fun. Because they already like to make animal noises.
The other one we always played was counting to 20.
Oh, I know this one.
So you would have to randomly get your class to count to the number 20. So if I say 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7. So then we would have to go back.
We need to do it now because I'm not going to be able to leave or sleep tonight if we don't get to 20. So let's do it on round 2. 1,
2,
3,
4. Bree!
One of my kids asked me why, because I write under my document camera a lot. He asked me why I always stop at the red line on the paper when I stop it. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. At first I was finna laugh, and I was like, nah, I think that was a genuine question. Like, I said, you don't know about like the margins on the paper? Like, that's why y'all be writing on the
we do proof sheets. Like anytime we do math problems, like they gotta show their work, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was 5 questions. I said, okay, y'all, like we're gonna fold this paper. We got 5 questions. So I told them fold it in half again. So you got 4 boxes on the front,
right,
but number 1 through 5. Where's the 5th box? I said, babe, the paper. Yes. There's 4 more boxes of paper.
Yeah.
I said, flip it over.
I asked my students, what year do you have to be born to be considered old? And I kid you not, the amount of times that they said like mid 2000s, I was like, are you kidding me? There was somebody that put 2007. I said, what?
I graduated from high school in 2007.
I told a student the other day that I graduated high school in 2016, and this kid in the back goes, dang, you unk status for real, for real.
I told them kids I was turning 35, and one of them said, dang, you pushing 40. 30 is the new 20. At least I can read.
When I have kids start calling me unk, I'm like, no, please.
You don't even give unks that. You know what I'm saying? You cooler than that.
I planned this trip to the zoo because it was simple. We've done it a million times. So we got to the zoo. We get to the gorilla enclosure. Anytime that I've gone to the zoo in my whole life, the gorillas have been really boring where they just sit there and they're like, I wish that was the case this time. So there is a very pregnant mama gorilla. And I don't know the gestation period of gorillas, but they decided on today. So no, I blank you not. This thing looked over at my group of 4th graders and was like, you're the kid behind the glass. It walked up and goes, oh no. And when I tell you, the most violent childbirth you've ever seen in your whole life. This thing, like with the kids just sitting there like,
I mean, is that even allowed? I'd be like, close your eyes, kids.
and I got 30 kids that are all like, what's happening? And the thing is, I had a couple of kids whose moms were pregnant and they're like, oh, it has a baby in its belly too. And I'm like, not for long, Joseph. Watch this. Not 1 baby. Not 2 babies, 3 brand new babies. The kids are sitting there like,